So how'd you come about wanting to do football?
Just kind of grew up around it. My dad played when he was young. My granddad, he used to play. I grew up playing basketball, football, and baseball, and then as I got older, football was the one that it seemed like I was probably had the most future with, or even a future at all with. So that's kind of the one that I stuck with when I got to high school.
Yeah. So your first couple of years, you start making some noise in high school, whether it be good coaching or a combination of both good coaching and good quarterback play from you. Was there some sort of like growth that you're just feeling yourself like you just have something to prove, like to everybody?
Every time I step on the field, I'm starting over. The last game doesn't mean anything. The last season doesn't mean anything. It's a new game, and I got to prove myself to my teammates that last game or the last year wasn't just a fluke. That I am the leader that I'm capable of being, and that I will do everything I can for them. It's really just proving to my teammates that I'm going to put everything I can out there on the field and leave it out there for them.
Mm-hmm. What was it like just feeling like in the locker rooms in school, like you're undefeated after a down season, like a very big down season? Just how it all feel in the locker room per se? Like you're undefeated, you feel unstoppable, but then you go one and done in front of your home crowd.
Right.
Just explain that.
Anytime you're doing good, you don't want to get too high. Although at times they can be hard. You don't want to get too high when you're doing good. You don't want to get too low when you're doing bad. But once the regular season's over, really when any game's over, it's over. You got to put it behind you and move on. What the next practice is next. The next game is what's next. The next play is what next. You can't focus on any other thing. Besides that, you can't focus on how that outside world treats you. You can't focus on how they feel about you. You just got to play your game and take it play by play and give everything you got.
Yeah. That year in 2009, undefeated. Next year, 9-1. Again, one and done. By the time the next year in 2011, your junior year, where you have 35 touchdowns and to 7 INTs, multiple rushing touchdowns to go along with it. We're 0-2 in the playoffs, by far. We're going up against Dixon County, like this has to be the game, or if we lose, we're going to be that known commodity, like we're only the season's best, but the slumpers in the playoffs.
In a sense, when we went into that game, we had a little bit of pressure on our shoulders to get that first win out of the way and to put a stamp in Coach Wiley's resume, because he is a good coach, a great coach, and we wanted him to have that win, and we wanted to do it for him, but we wanted to do it for us as well. We wanted to be that first team that won a playoff win in school history. We wanted to be the team that made it farther than any other team. We wanted to do as good as we could possibly do. And I feel like my teammates gave it everything they had, and we did quite well, and we did get that first win against Dixon County.
Yes. Just me covering y'all during the 2011 season. You had Jordan Barnes, Tony Cox, Tavian Lott. The list just goes on and on. Drew Irwin, recently on, everyone knows him from America's Got Talent. Just for that reason, very few know him for football. Just all that talent on defense. Then on offense, for over the years, you had Omari, Ruben, Drew Thomas.
Justin Boring, the list goes on.
Justin Boring, yeah.
Those guys are really fun to play with, and they take a lot of pressure off of me. When we're scoring defensive touchdowns, or when I throw a screen pass and Justin runs for 80 yards, it makes my job a lot easier, and it's fun to watch those guys. It really is.
Yeah. Just you being the quarterback. Everyone looks towards the quarterback as the leader, as the one they look to when things really get down. You go and you get your first playoff win, even though you lose to Whitehaven just by 2 touchdowns. Lots of opportunities to possibly win that game and host White Station the week after. The next season, you go up against Oakland, where the first time around they knocked you out of week 1. there has to be something on your mind like, okay, we're gonna beat them for once, and then like just pay back kind of a thing.
Well, we really wanted to beat Oakland mainly because of revenge. They beat us the year before. You know, really we don't want to lose to anybody, but we had that game sort of circled on our map because a lot of teams like to think that, you know, East Tennessee teams are better than West Tennessee teams, or Nashville teams are better than Memphis teams, or we can't play with them, they're too big, this and that. But, you know, we wanted to show that we can play with anybody in this state, and we can play with anybody in this country if we do what the coaches tell us to. We prepare all week like we know we can, and we give it everything we got. I do believe we can play with anybody, and that just shows beating Oakland. It shows that.
Yeah. Beat Oakland, you're down big against White Station, you're rallying the team. There have been multiple times where you were down, but then you bring them back up. There has to be something on your mind, like, again, you're the quarterback. You're like down 4 touchdowns against White Station the week after.
Well, I mean, just like beating Oakland, when your highs are up, you can't get too high because the team will see that and they'll start to relax a little bit and take some of the pressure off and not put the work in. They'll think everything's just going to come easy. And like you said, against White Station being down 4 touchdowns, we almost came back and won that game. When you're down like that, being the guy that everybody looks to, you can't get too low in situations like that. If they see that you're down and out and done for the count, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to lay over. So you always got to be that even kill guy. Everybody can look to you when they need something. They look to you just to look at you and see how you're handling the situation, to know how they can handle the situation. So you always got to be even kill and be on top of your guys and keep them motivated and keep them moving forward in the right direction.
Yeah. Back in 2011, with those leaders, just that sense of a team, lots of seniors, they could have gone either way for college states. Drew Thomas, I think he had Ole Miss, Tennessee, UTM, which he is now, and Tennessee. Just all the talent, just literally at your disposal. I mean, that's practically unheard of here around these parts in Tennessee.
It is. I mean, the receivers we had in 2011, Drew Thomas, Justin Boring, Amari Hampton, Reuben Branch, Alan DeBerry, everybody, the list goes on and on. You know, it was just incredible to be able to, anywhere you throw the ball, it could be a bad pass, it could be a deflected pass. You know, you never discount them out of catching the ball. They can make a play on any ball. They could, you know, like I said earlier, you could throw a 3-yard screen pass to any one of them and they could take the distance at any point in time. But it really makes my job a lot easier, especially since we were a little bit undersized. It was good to be able to get the ball out to them fast, and they can make plays with the ball in their hands in space.
Not even counting that Kramer, Cody Flagg, and the list goes on that.
It really does. The talent we had that year it really was incredible. And I wish we could have done more with it, but
yeah,
it's done.
Yeah, it's done. I'd just like to get in depth with here with this topic. Homecoming Burning Crest. First off, you're down 14-0, and then all of a sudden, lights out. Like, you see it on TV, but you rarely experience it. But next day later, the team driving it, like, after you get that first down on Saturday afternoon, just driving it, I could see, I may be wrong, I could just see, like, more of a resilience building up in the players, saying like, okay, yesterday was yesterday. We just gotta do what we gotta do our assignments, and then we're done. And then you and the broken collarbone, just take me on what's going on with that. I was hearing that you were playing through a couple plays after you got hurt.
I wasn't sure. Still not sure if it was completely broken. Those couple plays I was playing, you were talking about, but the play it originally happened, I believe, was a design run for me, the quarterback, and it was a fake jet sweep run up the middle, and I just kind of got hit, the face mask right on it, and I felt it kind of pop, and it was hurting, but it wasn't unbearable. So, I was like, I'm going to stick it out, and then when I get to the sideline, I'll see what's up with it.
Yeah.
And, and then a couple plays go by, and I get sacked on it a couple plays later, and it lands on it, and I knew that it was pretty bad at that point. And then the next play was 4th down, so I was like, I'll see how this play goes, and then if it's real bad, I'll come out if I need to or whatever. So I throw a pass across the middle, and it just dies as soon as it comes out of my hands, and it pops one more time, and then that's when I knew, something. I didn't know what it was, but I knew something was terribly wrong. And it's one of the worst pains I've ever felt. And the worst part was just, not being able to help my guys every Friday. It really hurts being on the sideline.
You were in the top 10 rated quarterbacks, seniors, coming out of high school. Like, the opportunities were just like literally there in the palm of your hand if you have like just the exact same year as 2011 or even better. You only had one interception prior to your injury, and that was the first game of the year. And so, with you going down, you had Lafayette. I know Memphis being on their website a couple times mentioned that you were there at their facility for a possible recruitment. Just take me what was going on through your mind with colleges, Lafayette, or Memphis. Like, Memphis was really reaching out to you, were they?
They were at one point, but they weren't sure which way they were going to go because they had already committed a quarterback from my class, and they were not sure whether they were going to take another one or not, and they wound up not wanting to take another one, which ended up perfect for me because Lafayette is the school I feel is the best fit for me. It's got a great education. It's honestly, if I could go to any school in the country, they would be in the top 3 of my choices. It's just the best school I've ever seen. The campus is beautiful. It's got everything for me up there.
Yeah. You think of quarterbacks that have come out of small schools. One of them in recent memory was Stephen Nair from Alcorn State. I'm not saying you're going to be Stephen Nair or by any launch. I hope you are. The potential side, like you could possibly go on a big college run and probably catch all it takes is one scout to notice you, and then a crowd draws.
Well,
so
in my mind, I feel like I could play anywhere. I'm not saying that to be cocky or arrogant in any way. I feel like if you're going to play quarterback or really any position in any sport, the number one thing you need to be successful at what you do is confidence. If you don't believe in yourself, it shows, and other people see that you don't believe in yourself, and it also shows to yourself, and you're not going to be able to perform as well as if you say, I know I can do this, I'm going to do this, it's not going to be a problem. Your body will just automatically do it a lot easier. And I'm just, like you said about the quarterbacks going from small colleges like to the NFL per se, I like to think about it, it's not where you play, but it's how you play. And if you show that you can do it there, why can't you go to the NFL just like somebody from Tennessee, if you're doing just as well as they can, or somebody from Alabama or anywhere like that, as long as you do as well as you possibly can, there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah. When Tyler Bray declared for the NFL draft, some people in your family had to be, at least one person besides me had to say, like, hey, he's gone. Maybe you can fill in this spot, possibly.
A lot of people said things like that. People say, oh, we want to see you at Memphis, hometown. Everybody will love you around here. But, it's Tennessee and Memphis. They had their path they wanted to go, and I had my path I wanted to go. No disrespect to them, or no, I'm not, mad at anybody for what they did or anything they did. But, our paths just didn't meet up this time, and that's fine. Best of luck to them.
Yeah. Back to your collarbone injury. Justin Montgomery from the basketball team told me a couple weeks ago when I interviewed him, saying that he saw you and he just talked to you for a quick second, saying just words of encouragement. From a leader like him, on the basketball side at the school, and how last year ended. Yes, you made the playoffs, but again, it's one and done from the home crowd.
It's definitely something I thought about, what could have happened or what would have happened, but it's not something you want to dwell on because it's over and you can't change it. It's it's in God's hands at that point, and the decisions He makes are the decisions He wants to make, and it's going to be best for everyone. But it hurts to look back and think about that's my senior year. I got to miss out on the second half of the season. Didn't get a chance to try to win that playoff game and take my team as far as I could. But it's time to move on, and there's bigger and better things out there for me, and it's time to get bigger, stronger, faster, and ready for the next level.
Again, back to your collarbone. Not to stress on this too much for you. When I was walking by, just being with your parents or your folks, I'm pretty sure it was your mom, just walking by, like I know based on you had the cast, your facial expressions, like it was definitely serious, like super serious. So I'm seeing you and I'm thinking, and again, I told Justin this the other day, that when I saw you, I'm just thinking, okay, I gotta do something. Even though I'm just a camera guy, I don't play on the sports team, football is it's my blood. I love football so much. But I'm just looking at you and just thinking, I gotta do something. Go over there, don't just stare at them and just walk away, kind of thing. So I'm just coming over there, and was there something not to glow anything on my part? All I did was just say I'm deeply sorry for you, and I just led in prayer. Did you feel anything inside of you, like a sense of relief, spiritually, anything at that time and moment?
First off, I want to say thank you for doing that and thinking about me. But to answer your question, in a sense, I did. I was worried about how long I'm going to be out, how I let my teammates down, even though it wasn't my fault. I don't get to be out there with them and don't get to play with them and everything. But at that point, I realized that it wasn't my fault. I was giving it everything I had when the injury happened, and at that point, the recovery time, will I play again, how long till I play again, at that point it was all in God's hands, and you helped me realize that, and there was nothing I could do but pray and keep faith in the Lord, and He's helped me to come to where I'm at now.
Yeah. Okay, off of high school for a while. What do you want to do for college? So do you want to get an education? I know you're doing football. What do you want to pursue the most?
I really want to be an entrepreneur when I'm out in the real world doing my own thing. I want to have my own business of some sort, or work in some sort of a big business. I'm getting my economics and business degree from Lafayette, and with that, I feel like I can do a lot of things and go a lot of places because it is such a high-quality education, and I feel like most of the things I would want to do in life, Lafayette gives me the best opportunity after I graduate from there.
Yeah. If by some small chance football is on the back of your mind, a couple scouts see you, something going to change your mind, saying I have an opportunity to...
I mean, goal number one would be, play football for as long as I can and make all my money that way. Of course, but, you got to think about, what if that doesn't happen, or what if that doesn't work out? You put in line what's next. Not that I'm not going to give everything I got and do everything I can to be in the NFL and make money playing the game I love, but at the same time, you got to think, what if I get injured again and it's worse this time, or what if I'm not good enough, or there's a lot of variables that come into it that could hinder you from making it to the NFL or things like that. So you always got to have a plan B when it comes to things like that. Even though it's good to dream and have a goal and do everything you can to try to make that goal come true, but some things just aren't meant to be.
Yeah. Me and Justin kind of got a laugh after I mentioned that you and RG3, similar skill set in a way. But I mean, think about it. Like, he can scramble out of the pocket. He can throw the deep pass. I know you can throw it. A lot of people know you can throw a deep pass. You can definitely make plays with your feet. Like, just it's just intangibles that you can't teach.
Well, that means a lot, but when I think it's kind of hard to compare me to RG3. He's got world-class speed. He's got a world-class arm. He's just a world-class athlete, and he's a freak, and he's one of my idols, and he's somebody that I would like to compare my game to. He's just, it's hard to be that good, He's unreal.
It's not possible. It's not possible. But yeah, any quarterbacks would you like to compare? Like, not compare yourselves. Like say you want to take that next step into the NFL. Like, who would you want to strive to be, or what would you want people to say your skill sets relate to when you're coming out of college?
In a sense, Peyton Manning, just because his knowledge of the game and not that our play styles are, go hand in hand, because they are a little bit different, but just his knowledge of the game, and he knows where everybody's going to be. He knows where the defense is going to be when they haven't even moved yet. He knows everything that's going to happen. He studies the game inside and out. He's got an ultimate love for the game, and just his knowledge of the game is one thing. If I could take it away from anybody else and give it to myself, it would be Peyton Manning's knowledge for the game.
Yeah. To touch on the basketball side of at Arlington. In 2011, the football team wins its first playoff game at Dixon County. Definitely a couple seats higher than you. The basketball team 0-2 against Craigmont on a last tip-off pass for a shot. And Cordova, they go into Dyer County against all odds again, but on the basketball side, but win 65-63. Were you thinking, you or the other football players thinking, is there some sort of, something has to be going on in the school, it's all happening in the same year?
To be honest with you, I think it was our time. We had been right on the verge in basketball and football in years past. We were right there at the point of getting that first win, and then we were able to put it all together, basketball and football. They
not to mention baseball. They won the state championships.
They beat us all. They brought home a ring, which we all wish we could have done, but I think everybody just finally put it together, and they started believing in themselves and believing in each other, and to me, that's all it takes.
Yep. You have a sense of emotion, of leadership, and trying to rally up the players. I remember seeing you against Whitehaven in the playoffs, how you, before Georgia Irwin took it up, how you were motivating the football team, just telling them to do their assignments.
Totally.
Yeah, and we'll win.
I mean, each game has a little bit different meaning and a little bit different way you should approach the team. Going into Whitehaven, I could sense that our guys, everybody knew we were undersized. They were faster than us. They were stronger than us. They were bigger than us. They're Whitehaven. They got all these Division I athletes.
David versus Goliath.
Yeah, it was a David versus Goliath match. It really was. And I wanted to show my guys that I wanted to show them that I was as confident as I could possibly be, so that they would be as confident as they could possibly be. I wanted them to have no fear just because they were bigger or stronger or faster. Go out and do what you're supposed to do, and if each of us do what we're supposed to do, we will win. And although, we weren't able to come out on top that night against a very good Whitehaven team,
score was very close. You had multiple opportunities in the red zone.
It was. I was really proud of the way my guys fought, and they didn't back down. To be honest, that was my one concern. I was nervous that we might go out there and be kind of scared or kind of timid because they were so big and so fast. But and to be honest, they try to intimidate you a little bit. That's a little bit of their game plan. But and I kind of figured they would do that going in, so I wanted my guys to have a little bit of an edge, kind of pissed off attitude, like don't take anything from them. You do exactly what you're supposed to do, and don't worry about them at all. You do your job, and don't worry about what the other team's doing whatsoever.
Yeah. This previous year, in 2012, you get injured. Hunter Sheffield is next up. Just you being there on the sidelines. You being being the starting quarterback all your time in Arlington. With you hurt and he's out there, there's got to be something like, okay, I'm injured, but I still got to contribute in whatever way possible.
Every day at practice, I was in Hunter's year and Jonathan's year, the quarterback who was under him. I wanted to be there. If they had any questions, I wanted to be able to turn to me and ask a question. Anytime they made a mistake, I was there to try to correct it, not to jump down their throat, but try to correct them. And I really wanted the best for them and the best for the whole team. And every game, every time Hunter came off the sideline, he was asking me what I saw, and I'd tell him, look for this guy. He's got certain tendencies he likes to do. Maybe this guy, we can beat him deep. Maybe this guy likes to play off a lot, so don't try to beat him deep as much. Just any type of pointers, anything I could do to try to get Hunter's confidence up or anything like that. He was normally pretty confident, but a few times I had to try to, tell him it's going to be fine. He threw an interception one time and he was kind of upset, and I told him it's going to be fine. It's one play. We got a whole game after that, and he played very well after that, and we ended up winning that game.
Yeah. Back to the basketball side. It stars like Justin, the emotional leader. KJ Bates, he's going to be a senior this coming year. You got Anthony Cole last year. Herbert Arnold, he's serving in the military. We salute him. CJ Anderson. All those guys, superstars. Again, 2011 was the year, but come this year, they lose Anthony Cole. He's a walk-on now at Memphis. Herbert Arnold, he's serving in the military. CJ transferred. It just went from one of our greatest years in school history to one of the very low years in school years. Even though both teams still won a lot of games.
They did. To be honest, I wasn't sure how this year was going to shake out. Losing Anthony, our leading scorer, and CJ, our second leading scorer. Anthony going on to Memphis and CJ transferring. But the guys really toughed it out. They really played well. Each game I went to, they played well as a team together. And although a lot of games they would be undersized, they didn't make any excuses. They didn't back down from anyone. They gave everything they got in each game they played. And I'm really proud for those guys, the way they fought and played the whole year with everything they had.
Yeah. For one of the matchups this year was kind of like a playoff game per se, when Chicago Simeon, of all teams, the number one team in the nation, to somehow be on their schedule, coming to their house, coming to Arlington. The score's tied 36-36. Everyone is stunned from all different schools. I'm not sure if you were there or not.
I was actually on. That was when I was taking my visit to Lafayette, so I wasn't able to be at that game. But I heard about it, and I had people giving me updates, throughout the game. And from what I heard, we had our chances to win that game, which is something to be proud of in itself. And we just weren't able to close it out in the end. They have the #1 player in the country,
Jabari Parker.
Yeah,
going to Duke.
Like 5 top 100 players. So they're really an impressive team, and for us to play with them the way we did was, hats off to our guys. It was well done.
I was surprised it was a low-scoring game. To be honest with you, say 10, 15 years from now, or at least 8 years from now, when someone comes up to like a name file, sees Drew Reed in the sports file, what do you want them to see in terms of like being a leader, like one of the great quarterbacks in school history, what do you want to be remembered as?
It's kind of a tough question. The main thing I would want to be remembered as is, just a great leader and somebody who's there for each and every player if they need anything on or off the field. Like being that guy that's like an older brother per se to anybody on the football team who needs it. It could be 20 years from now and one of those guys could call me and say, I need you, man. I really need you, and I'll be there in a heartbeat for any of those guys. I truly love them, and they're like a family to me, and I would want them to look back at me and say, he was just a great leader, and he always had my back, or any of our backs if we ever needed anything. Like I said, on or off the field.
Yeah.